Hello, Kyle here, and this is GoG's Guide to PHP Embedding from GlobeOfGeek.com. Anyway, as the usual thing, you're going to go to your GOG PHP folder. You're going to make a new file called embedding.php with 2Ds. Afterwards, you're going to open it up in your text editor. And instead of using the usual PHP tags, we're going to change things up a bit. So just to start off, to save that, we're going to check here to make sure it's appeared. For me it has, because I made it prior to this lesson. And what we're going to do is actually make an HTML form. And whether or not you know how to do this it doesn't really matter at this point. I'll explain just the basics of it. But the point of this is to show how you can embed HTML code in PHP, and vice versa, how you can embed PHP into HTML code. So to start off, let's put some PHP in HTML, shall we? HTML is hypertext markup language. If you don't know what that is. So we're going to start off with input. This is how you start the form. And then we do a space, type equals, and with here you're going to do two double quotes. And what type? We're going to put text. So this is now making a text box, right? And then next we put value equals this, and we end it. And the value is what will appear in the text box. So just to show you off the freehand here, we open up embedding. You'll have a box, right? And whatever you type inside the value, say you were to put hello world inside this HTML box, that's what would appear inside the text box, right there. But like I said, we don't need to know this. What we do need to know is how can we replace this with PHP? You know that to do PHP you have to have your tags, right? PHP opening and closing, you could do echo hello if you wanted to display text. So now if we went and checked, you would have, well, hello displayed and then your check or your text box. How do we display PHP in here? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You simply go inside these double quotes, and it may look a bit messy at times, but what you do is you make your PHP tags, put a few spaces just to be nice, and then you'd put echo, and another couple double quotes, hello world. And basically you have to end with your semicolon, don't forget that. And all this looks a little bit confusing. You have, this is really, anything in here is your, what's going to be outputted, right? Or, pardon, anything in here. And inside these double quotes here is PHP. And then inside this echo is the echo. So it's really just, it's nested PHP, I should say. And see here, now it says hello world. So if you were to change what hello world is to like blah, 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 a bunch of gibberish, go check, well, lucky guess. Oh look, it changed everything, right? There you go. So it's as simple as that. And a little pointer I'd like to include is PHP's freeform. So you can have individual lines containing code. You could do echo, then you could have this. You could have things lined up. It's like this if you want to be really disoriented a bit. Keep it like that so it's highlighted. But you see what I mean? You can have it lined up in a big row such as that. And it'll still display the same thing. There's no problem with that. So next up, we're going to show how you can embed HTML in PHP code. I'm going to keep this down here. And let's use our cool little comment feature that I taught you guys about a couple of videos ago. We're going to make a big comment thing. And if that worked, remember though, this has to only be in PHP. There you go. It only works if you're doing PHP code. So I forgot you can't put comments unless it's within PHP tags. It's usually the case. A good thing to remember. I just reminded myself. We use our handy dandy text editor thing though. We'll close this up with a plus minus sign. And now we'll open up some PHP tags up here. We'll put our generic hello world text right there. And we'll check what's up. You should have your box, hello world. But look at this. Do you want this box right beside your hello world? Let's say you wanted to have a couple spaces, right? And then this box. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to put some HTML in this hello world. Right? We're just going to put the HTML right here. I'm going to put BR between the two, the opening bracket and closing brace bracket. Can't remember what those are called. You know, less than, greater than signs. Just how HTML is supposed to look. Open up our browser and let's take a look by refreshing the page. There you go. A new line's been created. The box is now displayed underneath the hello world. And say you were to be picky and you want to do this again, again, and again, and again, and again. You can keep doing that over and over and it'll just add more and more lines. So now you have this laid out. Keep in mind though, this is probably one of the most sloppy methods you could possibly embed HTML in PHP. But I'll show you another example anyway. If you were to put strong tags, this makes your text bold basically. Put strong and then at the end you put strong. You have to put a slash when you're ending your tag to show anything inside it, right? Now up here, hello world. You see our lines are gone now because we erased that, but this is bolded now, correct? And if you wanted to nest HTML, you could put, I'm not quite sure, it is U possibly for underline. I don't really work with HTML much anyway, but let's assume it's U, underline. That would make sense, right? Ah, and it is too. Woohoo! So now you have underlined it and bolded. But keep in mind there are better ways of doing new line. There's a new way, like there's a better way of having multiple lines with PHP, and I'll explain that later on. And there is also better ways of including HTML in your code. You shouldn't have it right inside your main output because it's confusing to yourself and other programmers. Rather, you should just, if you want it to be sloppy still, you can echo it out just like this. Where you do, I'll show an example, you put echo strong, perhaps, and then let's just see if this works. A little learning experience. And you put another slash, you put your strong tags, right? You see we've just done it separately beyond both of these. If we gave it a check, let's see if that would work. See, it still works. Have I erased the code? Yeah, it has. There you go. Isn't that interesting? If you put echo strong, you put your tags outside separately. It looks like 3 different commands, right? But really, if you put it together, it's the same thing as just putting hello world between 2 strong tags. And speaking of putting things together, I'm going to explain how to do that later on in the series because there's a very interesting method you can use to do that. Anyway, keeping back on topic, hope this has helped you guys out.